I don't know, maybe because I've been through a lot of like also friendship breakups, and those are terrible.
How do you deal with a friendship breakup?
Oh,
I
they're
don't
awful.
think I have ever...
That's a podcast for another day,
Oh,
because I
wow.
feel like you could get so into it. But what I will say about a friendship breakup and how to deal with it, it's not easy, and I think people don't talk enough about that, and I think it hurts way more than an actual romantic breakup. Welcome back to another week's episode of Work in Progress. I am your host, Barbara, and I am here accompanied by my lovely friend, Pati, as I call her, Patricia.
Hi. Hello.
And now that we've gathered here today on this lovely, gloomy day, I had, the curious thought to talk to you, Buddy. And we actually had this conversation a couple days ago, which now has prompted us to have this conversation now on the podcast. And we'll just get into it. So, Buddy, I know you've been living in Munich for quite some time now. For
5 years. Mm-hmm. Almost 6. Actually, I think 6 years. Mm-hmm. I'm almost Deutsch.
Oh, almost. Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Well, let's, for those that don't know you, introduce yourself to the people. Kind of what should the people know about you?
Well, that's a first. I've been living here for 6 years. I always tell people I'm from Venezuela because that's where I grew up. Mm-hmm. I was there for about 10 years. Born in the States, though. Went to college in the States. And then came to Europe because I just always wanted to live here. Okay. So, and here I am. I stayed here.
Okay. So we have a couple commonalities, right? Because besides the fact that we're both Latina and the fact that we both live in Germany and that we're from Miami.
Yes.
I think right now we're in a season of our lives, or at least I am, but I know we're both in this season of our lives of being single.
Yep.
And that's very new for you, right?
It is.
Coming from like a long-term relationship and all that stuff. And that's why we wanted to talk, because I feel like I've been through so many dating experiences. And we were talking about this the other day.
Not.
Yeah, you haven't. Right. And being somebody who hasn't had as many dating experiences as I have, not to gloat or anything, is just the cards that have been dealt for me. Just put it like this. So let's get into it, because I know you have some questions about this whole navigating the navigating dating, or how that's like for me. And I feel like I'm Hitch from the Will Smith movie. So here really we are to answer your questions. So, what curiosities do you have?
I mean, where do we get started? I just feel like we were having this conversation because we were just, it just came about, and then we really identified that you are Hitch and I am like this tiny deer.
My client.
Or your client who has no idea what she's doing, and I'm just like, no expectations. I have no idea on like the timing, what is right, what is wrong, how does this even how do you even begin to think about jumping into the dating world, or is it just a good idea to start meeting people? Like, how does this all work? I don't know. At least I haven't experienced this in my 20s. So, yeah, I guess my first question would be, is this something that everybody has to go through? Like, really date a lot in your 20s, or not really?
I mean, I guess it really depends. Like, I don't know. I think most people would say yes. I'm not of that belief. But then again, it really depends on who you are. Like, I have a friend from back home who's only been in one relationship. And it was her first boyfriend, and it was like her first everything. And now they're married, and now they're about to have kids for the first time. Like, it's like this really cute thing that you would hear from a story or watching the movies.
Right.
And I remember I said this once to a friend, and she was like, "Oh my God, that must be awful." And it's funny that was the reaction from my friend, because I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "Oh, because she basically hasn't really explored what she's into or what she likes or all that stuff." And I get that. That makes, I guess, from that perspective,
I have a question.
Sense. Yeah.
Was this what culture was this?
The person that questioned it?
Yeah.
I was my Latina friend who was judging my other Latina friend.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because I feel like in the Latin environment, this happens a lot. This also happened to me back then, when I was in my relationship, I would get these comments or questions, but also from my tias, my aunts, everyone's like, "Oh, okay." But then, the moment, then they also celebrate the other situation, the fact that you're, in a long-term relationship, and that it's just lasted and gone very well. So I think, I don't know if it's a cultural thing. I don't know if it's just personalities. I guess it doesn't matter.
It's okay. These situations aren't so black and white. I think it's very gray. It's very complex and multi-layered. Again, going back to your question and my advice on it, I think yes. I would say yes. Like date as much as you can, but not like as if it's a race. I think once you like feel connection with the person and you say, hey, this feels authentic and right to me, give it an honest, authentic shot, because a lot of people, I think, aren't intentional daters. And that's fine. Like, I actually learned that. Shout out to you, Robbie. I learned that it depends.
Who's Robbie?
He was my first podcast guest.
Oh.
Yeah. We talked about serial monogamy. If you haven't listened to that, you should. It's the second episode of the podcast. It's on YouTube and all streaming services. Thank you.
Nice segue.
Yeah, gotta plug it in shamelessly. But yeah, so with him, we talked about serial monogamy, and him and I were like having a conversation about this one topic, but we're in totally two different seasons of our lives. Like he's very much like not looking to date anybody seriously, and I'm very much am. And I learned that it just really depends on the season that you are in your life, and it's okay to figure out your dating goals, and it's also okay to be an intentional dater. I have the belief that you should be an intentional dater from day one, but if you're not, then just be open with the communication and the expectations, because that's the problem. And I think that's where a lot of people kind of get into these like murky waters of like not being honest. Like if you want to be a hoe, then just be an honest hoe.
Just do it. Honestly.
Just do it.
I have a follow-up question though. Intentional dater. Like what does that exactly mean? Does that mean that you like have to reply within the hour? Is it like boom, 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 boom? Yeah.
Whatever you heard before. That? Yeah, no. You reply when you want to reply. I don't know what there's like, I think it's super funny because to me, I don't think there is like these little tiny little rules of like, you must do this and this and this and that, and then check off of some sort of checklist. But intentional dating, great question. What that means and what that looks like for me is making sure that you're just honest, you have open communication, and you kind of from like the very start, I would say, kind of tell the person that you're dating kind of like what you're looking for personally. And then they'll obviously like adjust to that. Like a person will treat you as such once they know the playing field that they're on.
Also,
does that make sense?
It makes sense. What about ghosting? What is the definition of ghosting?
Ghosting is just like when you stop replying.
Yes, but like an hour? A day?
No, like you just don't.
Weeks?
Or you just don't reply. I think they'll get the picture after you don't reply after like a week. I think that's like, I think a week is like you've been ghosting.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just asking like
I think
the random questions.
I think. Yeah. I would say a week after a week you've been ghosted. Because like I understand a day, I could even understand maybe 2 days. I'll let even 3, even though that's already pushing it, go by. But anything after that, it's like, okay. So what was the last thing we had said?
I don't know. We were talking about dating. I have a question.
Go for it.
Dating. 2 truths, 1 lie.
Ooh, okay. Okay. Do you want me to do it?
Yeah.
Like, okay, I want to participate.
For you.
2 truths and a lie. I have never had an official boyfriend. I have never dated an American, like 100% American. And I once had a guy throw beer at me.
Oh my god. Okay. I was going more for like not necessarily personal stories, but just like in general about the dating world because you have experience. But I want to know about the beer story.
Those are experiences.
Yeah, now I'm curious.
I mean, I don't know if I understood the assignment, but
that's fine. Okay. Why did he throw beer at you?
Which was the lie though?
Not the beer one. Probably the beer one.
That's the lie.
I'm gonna go for the beer one. Yeah, that's the lie.
Yeah, it's the lie.
Okay, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because you've only dated Latinos, and I forgot the first one. What was it?
Only Latinos. No.
Europeans? Tell me more. I don't really know.
Literally the only Latino that I ever dated in my life, who is Venezuelan, by the way.
Oh, preach.
Yeah. Hey, he's a doctor now. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
In Venezuela or where?
No, Miami.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's still living there. In high school we met. We were friends. Anyway. That was the only one that I ever dated. And I was like a teenager. Like, I don't really count that.
The rest is like European?
Yeah, the rest of the Europeans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, even when I went to college, I didn't date anybody because also my university was where Tinder started. The founder of Tinder went to my university and beta tested the app at my university. Yep.
UCLA?
USC, girl? What the hell? UCLA. No.
He tested the app there?
Yeah, he beta tested the app.
Marico. La cagamos.
He beta tested the app there.
Damn.
Yeah, and
Were
then...
you part of the trial?
No, I wasn't because I was before my time.
I know.
And then, yeah, so clearly, if that doesn't tell you the nature of the environment of dating in my university... It gives you a pretty clear picture that people don't really take dating seriously in my university. It's all like hookup culture, which was super big and prevalent, I think, in most university campuses in the U.S.
College, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I would make that assumption.
So, I mean, it was perfect for him to beta test an app like that. And, yeah, so after my time there, my dating life didn't really start until I literally studied abroad in Europe. And then that's when I was like, people think I'm attractive here? Swear to you, nobody thought I was attractive in high school in Miami. Nobody. It wasn't until I guess I dyed my hair blonde that people were like, oh my gosh, she's attractive.
What worked for you here? Was it the fact that like you're not from Europe? Is that like the thing? That is interesting.
No, I don't ask for feedback. Like, hey, can you fill this questionnaire and tell me what you thought you guys attractive
Would
about
be
me?
Useful, though.
True, but I bet you the guy who was just here. I don't think it's because of the fact that because, like, what? Like, do you really think, like, being American is an attractive quality? I don't know. That's maybe savage to say that. But, like...
I feel like those are the things that make you different here. Like, the fact...
I guess just being different. The fact that I'm
but also
different.
it's like, this guy that was here before, he's interested in America. And that was probably, like, the trigger. He was like, ooh, U.S.
Probably.
I love movies. I love entertainment.
Yeah.
Let's chat.
I'm in entertainment.
Exactly.
I don't know. So, I don't know. We got to this point, but like, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. So, yeah. I've only dated basically Europeans. That was my experience. Continues to still be my experience. If my friends are watching this back home, you guys know. You guys already know. It's so annoying about it too. I know. Actually, I don't know if this has happened to you. I know we're kind of deviating right now, but my Latino friends actually have shamed me for not dating within the culture. And it's actually annoying.
They've shamed you. Yeah.
Yes, they're like, you need to date within the culture. You know what? That's rude. So rude.
I actually had the opposite of experience. Like, with my experience, having not dated Latinos, people were like, oh, interesting. Like, my grandma even said some inappropriate things that I can't say here.
Abuela.
Yeah. So actually it was the opposite.
No.
But who knows? Maybe they were thinking something else. I don't know.
Who knows? But for me, I always heard people like, I was like, that's kind of annoying. Or at least some of my friends. Not all my friends, guys. I know. Relax.
And what about friends? What about, like, your friends here? I feel like your friends here are super, like, diverse. You don't really have that many Latino friends, right?
No, but I did that on purpose and no shame. I love my culture and my people, but sometimes, as I'm sure you know, it can become a bit too much. And I just can't keep up with all these, like, I don't know, like...
It can be a lot.
Yeah, I don't know, like, I can't keep up with, like, some, like, for example, like... I think we're kind of, like, deviating, but whatever, it's fine. Like, there was, like, when I have, like, my female Latina friends, and I think some of the ones that I have here, which are very few, understand when I say this, because with each other, we're friends with each other, obviously, but like, for example, I'm thinking of this one friend of mine, she doesn't have many Latina friends either, for the same reasons that I have, which is like, I just think it's a lot of drama sometimes amongst us, our community. It's a lot of drama. And I just don't like it for so many reasons. Because this guy liked me, or I don't know, like these little things.
We're probably too similar,
too similar, and I think just overly sensitive or something. I get it. Like, I'm dramatic. I get it. Like, I'm dramatic. Like, it's okay. I accept this. So I think that's the thing. Because I've tried having Latina friends here, and it doesn't really, like, work out always.
This is so interesting.
From my personal experience.
My closest friends here are Latinas. But I do have that experience where I'm like, maybe, it's like a dose, I don't necessarily hang out with them every single day because it becomes a lot. But I think also having Latin friends here who, like, have lived abroad, have moved, have kind of left their comfort zone is very different. Like, I don't think I could connect with my, friends or people who are still in Venezuela the same way that I do with people who have.
But that's a universal
left.
thing.
Yeah.
Like, it will no matter even if they're your friends or not, like, that's gonna happen.
Yeah, but the drama, I think that's everywhere.
True, but I don't know, like, I don't know.
Anyway, next
It's an interesting question, though. Yeah. So, continue asking Hitch these questions. What do you want to ask me? What else?
The keys. Is this a thing? I'm trying to think about the movie Hitch and the things that he points at.
Oh, the key situation?
Yeah, like the key trick.
Uh-huh.
Is this like a thing? Like when you're coming back home from a date and like you have to like pretend that you don't know which key? I mean, for me that would be an issue because I have one key.
That's so funny. No. I've never had to do that. Like what, to invite a guy in?
Yeah. Like this thing.
No, what the hell? I don't know. You decide. Either you come in or you don't. You're coming
or like
with
this
me or
80-20, this theory. That the guy should do 80% and the woman should do 20%. Is this still true today? Because Hitch is an old movie.
Yeah. Well, I still think that's kind of true, though, the 80-20. I think.
Also in Europe?
Yes. It's a universal thing. It doesn't matter wherever you're from.
Okay.
Guys are the same everywhere. It's true.
What is the most fun thing about dating and what is the worst? This is gonna be very long.
I don't know. No. I think I'll go with the easy one. So the most fun thing about dating, I think, is just like getting to know yourself in the process of like what you like and don't like. I think that's kind of fun, and getting to meet people. I think that's also super fun. Like getting to meet new people, even if like it didn't work out or whatever. But at least you had that experience and know how from the person that you were dating. Like you take away something from every experience. So it's something to take away, and then you learn. Oh, so many things.
Do you have like a story where you were in a situation that you just wanted to like run away from? And how did you handle it?
A situation? Like as in like a
like were you in a date and the conversation was awful?
Oh my god,
the guy had awful breath. Like you had to like run.
But I did have a situation like that years ago with an American guy. Only time I decided to entertain an American guy. And just because like, you know, his name was Zach, like Zac Efron, and I was like, oh, okay. So, so this terrible date. Oof. I just remember I was near my apartment, it was at a bar, and it was the shortest date of my life. To this day, the shortest date of my life.
How long?
If we're saying 30 minutes, that's a lot.
Oh.
And we went to grab a beer at this brewery that he chose near my apartment, which I thought was super convenient. I park the car, I cross the street, I get into the bar, and he's, I think he's already there, whatever. We start talking. The entire date, he was complaining about his job, how much it sucked, and this and that. I'm like, oh, that's great for you. But, like, this is getting annoying. And after a while, like, imagine it's like a first impression, and this is what you're showing me? Ew. It's just no. It's just a big no for me. And after a while of hearing him bitch and complain, I'm like, so I couldn't stay quiet anymore. I was like, hey, so if you hate your job so much, like, why don't you just do something about it?
And what did he say?
And he took it so up the ass.
Okay.
Because he took it so personally that he like awkwardly, I remember he cut the conversation to go to the bathroom, and then
you ran away. No, never came back.
No, I wish I ran away. I was such a good person. I remember I didn't even finish, like I wasn't even halfway done with my beer. And I like remember giving it to the bartender. I was like, I'm done. Because I knew that day was gonna end. And I wanted to leave. But I was like, I wanted to watch him pay for the drink that he wasted my time. Because I was not gonna move a muscle. I'm like, buddy, you wasted my time. It was awful.
Yeah, but if you want to get out of there...
No, but I wasn't going to leave him. That's I don't know. Whatever. I should have. Whatever, okay. We learned. And I remember I stayed waiting for him to get out to see what he was going to say. And I remember he said, I actually just, I want to go. I was like, oh.
He did it for you.
All right. And he had all the energy to remember to unmatch me off of Tinder. I remember that's where we met. I was like, wow, you, okay, wow. He immediately unmatched me. It's like so lame.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so, ugh.
Damn.
That's like, I think probably the most horrible date that I've ever had. Generally, and thinking about it, I'm like, thankfully, I haven't had terrible dates. That was the only one.
I was gonna say, I feel like that's not that bad.
No.
I'm sure I've heard like worse experiences from friends or something. Where it's like,
but people have like these crazy experiences that I'm like, wow.
The guy jumps out the window or something. Like,
no, but I've never. Okay, but I feel like who the hell has that bad luck for you to have such a terrible first date? You know, because I get like terrible situationships, which girl, I have plenty, but terrible first dates, no, not really, because everyone's gonna want to put their best foot forward.
Yeah, but it could be like very boring. Like it could be that you have a connection with someone or you meet someone that you find attractive, but then when you like go on an official date and have like an actual conversation, it's extremely boring. And it's
I think I may have had one of those situations. Like I think I had one date that was like extremely boring, but God knows who that was because I blanked out on who that person was.
I have another question. What about paying?
Who
pays for the date
I
in
really
Europe?
hate this question.
You do? Well, you have to answer it.
No, it's fine. I hate it though because I feel like people put such a stressor and pain and like pressure on this topic. Yeah. I think first dates it would be nice if the guy paid. I'm just being straight up. It would be
we're
nice.
all feminists. This is why.
I mean, look, I don't mind paying for my own thing. I'm a working girl, but I don't think it's the end of the world if you have to pay for your own.
I feel like
right. I don't think it's the end of the world. However, it's very nice if they do pay.
It's part of the gesture.
It's a nice gesture, and maybe for the next one I pay or we split or whatever. But at least for the first one, just to see like where we're at.
Also, if you like take like 2 hours to get ready, do your hair, your makeup, like all this effort.
My time.
That is time consuming.
Yeah, my time. Not just like getting ready.
Not
but
that
also
I have
my
much
time
experience,
spent.
but like just thinking about it, and then it's like it's part of the gesture to like or maybe you pick the place.
For me to even agree to spend my time with you.
Exactly.
Like
precious time.
Yeah, my time is money. My money is time.
But anyway, that's dating. Those were all my questions.
Yeah, okay. Well, then I know there was something else that we wanted to talk about because we did talk about it prior to this conversation, which was on, navigating just relationships in general, but friendships.
Yes.
In adulthood. So
complicated.
How have you been able to find or build your tribe here since moving to Germany 5 years ago? And how has that been like over the years?
Good question. It took me about 5 years to find my tribe.
Really? All 5?
Honestly, okay, maybe 5 is an exaggeration.
I think you're giving some people here some false hope. They're like,
yes. I mean, I'm just saying. I think everybody like probably finds it or figures it out at their same time at their time, and it also has to do with like who is your group of friends. Like if you are hanging out a lot with the people from your work, then maybe it's easier, and in the first 6 months you already have your tribe. But in my case, I didn't have that many people my age when I joined my job. So I was like, okay, I need to explore further. I joined like Bumble BFF. That didn't work out because I'm a terrible texter, as you know. So like in 24 hours, these girls would disappear forever. And I would never be able to find them again. So my technique was kind of friends of friends. So I met, actually my first year here, I was working at Starbucks. I told you, just like as a barista. And I remember this Venezuelan girl comes in with like a tall guy next to her. And she was just like, hi, are you Venezuelan? I'm like, yeah, oh my God. We bonded immediately, became friends. And then this guy that she was with, like, didn't say a word. Now he's my best friend here in Munich, which is interesting because we met like some weeks later or something in like a protest for Venezuela. And he was like, I know you. And we bonded. So honestly, this is how I slowly started to gather. I was like, this is a Venezuelan girl. She then introduced me to other people. This guy I met, we kind of all came together somehow.
Yeah.
But I have literally met the people who are now my tribe in these random situations. So it hasn't been like, work or because I play volleyball or something. It's more like I've somehow brought them together and it's worked out. So, yeah. But it's hard. You have to like, keep track of these friendships as if it were a romantic relationship. This is how I look at it. Yeah. Yeah, what about you? How did you find your tribe, Barbie?
Okay. I think friends, like, and this is applicable throughout the many seasons of your life. I think at the beginning of anywhere you are like the new girl or the new person, you recycle a lot of people, as I like to put it. So I had friends that look completely different than what they are today. I wouldn't say entirely, but the majority of my friends at the beginning of my time here are the same ones as I'm friends with now. Because, you know, you evolve like any other person evolves, and naturally not everyone's going to follow you along the journey, and you might lose people in your life. That's going to happen. And I randomly also met my friends. Like, I mean, I came here, to those who are watching or listening, I came to Germany as an au pair. And if you don't know that story, episode 1 of the podcast for season 2, it's already out. Go listen. And in that episode, I talk about my experience as an au pair. And obviously, au pairs meet other au pairs, and you just like naturally connect, and you're going through the same things, and you become friends like that. Like, there are Facebook groups that are still pretty active that people use to meet other people, and that's actually at the time how I met a lot of friends. Was through Facebook. It's so millennial of me, Facebook groups are really, really active and helpful.
Are you in the LMBB Facebook group?
Yeah, super helpful.
Big one here in Munich.
So that's where I met most of my friends at the beginning, au pairs. And then I randomly met the friends that I have today at like beer gardens, or literally just going out and about the city. After a while though, I don't feel that need to constantly be making new friends, because I don't know why you just feel. I don't think so, because I've learned that the older that you get, there isn't this big necessity to have so many friends. Because if the friends that you already have are quality people...
Yeah, quality over quantity.
Then what are you searching for? I don't know. I mean, I've been to, like, these events. Like, I love, like, you know, those comedy shows. And there's a lot of really cool people. But at the same time... I don't know, maybe because I've been through a lot of, like, also friendship breakups, and those are terrible.
How do you deal with a friendship breakup?
Oh,
I don't
awful.
think I have
That's a podcast for another day, because I feel like you could get so into it. But what I will say about a friendship breakup and how to deal with it, it's not easy, and I think people don't talk enough about that, and I think it hurts way more than an actual romantic breakup. Because think about it, and I've actually had this thought with friends. We are more willing to put ourselves out there and making friends despite all the friendship breakups that happen, and those hurt so much, yet we aren't willing to put ourselves out there when it comes to romantic partners.
That's fair.
Do you think about that? Like, it's actually low-key insane how we would much rather put ourselves out there to make friends, even though there is also the high chance that 100%. They could break up with you as a friend, and those hurt a lot more, I think, because you wouldn't expect for a friend to dump you.
No, exactly. And I think it's too taboo. Like, we really don't talk about this. You're right.
And I think it hurts way more.
Interesting. Because I think in my life, it's been more about simply the friendship kind of fades away.
But you know, hurts.
It does hurt.
That hurts.
It does hurt, but in my case, it's been mostly mutual. Like, it happens to both of us. I moved out of the city, you know, so it's not like, it's just happens naturally.
Yeah, that happens. But have you ever been in a situation where, like, it's been an actual breakup?
Never. No.
Or you feel like the person's pulling away and you're like, what the hell is going on?
I have never. Oh,
I have.
Oh, damn.
I have many times.
Okay.
It's really heartbreaking because you wouldn't have never expected it to happen. Yeah.
But honestly, I feel like that makes you somehow braver. Like that, you know? I admire that in a way. Because when I think about my relationships, I see that as something too hard that I wouldn't want to go through. So maybe my kind of easy way out is to simply, you know, not reply, stop texting, and then just let it die. But I feel like when you set the record straight and you're like, actually, whatever you say in a friend's breakup, it's not me, it's not you, it's me, whatever it is. I just feel like that's a lot harder. It takes a lot of courage.
But you know, I've come to learn in these friendship breakups, it's not always mutual. It's always one person. And the other person's actually blindsided by that. And you're like, what the hell? How do we get here? And then nobody's willing to confront it. And I get it. But, like, I think you're doing a far greater disservice to the friendship itself.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if you're trying to end it like that, it's like, I get the impression that you just never cared about the friendship to begin with.
And in general, who wants to be in a relationship that's not like a two-way street, right? Whatever type of relationship that is.
And that's how it's always been for me, at least. Like, where I've been in situations where I never got closure from it. So then I have to find my own closure. And now I'm more apathetic to it. I'm like, whatever. Like, it's your loss, really. If you want to pull away from the friendship for whatever reason, I'm not going to take it personal. I have other people that in my life that care about me. So I focus on the abundance of my life.
Right.
And not so much at the potential loss or the loss of a friendship. So...
Yeah.
So yeah, that's I love talking about that topic actually because we don't talk enough about it. But another episode for another day.
Yeah, man. But in general, I just think as an adult to make friendships and maintain friendships is a lot of work. Like it's a lot. It's a lot. You just need to invest in it. You need to be aware of the investment that it is, and somehow balance it. Like especially in my situation now where I'm, I have good days, I have bad days, and I just think I have to be even more. You need to I feel like I need to appreciate my friends a lot more right now. And I hadn't realized before how much energy that takes, and if you're in a romantic relationship and on top of that you want to nurture your relationship with your friends, it's so much work. But now that I'm fully invested in just, focusing on my friends, sometimes I even have days where I'm like, I should have more friends. I should have more because.
But here's the thing. What is this need for more? Maybe it's the same thing with why do you need more things? Why do you need more love? Well, you know what I mean? It's as long as
we all can use more love.
True. We're taking that back. But about the more friends, there isn't really a need to have more friends. Because, I, for example, this year for my birthday, I didn't expect I was going to get all of that love at all. And it was from my core friend group. Shout out to you guys. Yes. My core friend group that showed up for me in ways that I didn't think was going to happen. And I had always dreamed of something like that. I know, cookies. Yeah.
I guess that's also my fear, in a way. Just being fully transparent here, that I feel like I should have more and more friends because I am not entirely sure who's going to show up, But
at the same time, you should just feel enough trust and confidence in the people that you have in your life that will.
Yeah, this I do.
You know what I mean?
This I
do. Just because you have more doesn't mean that there's a higher chance that they're going to show up. It could be that nobody shows up.
That's right.
Because I also have a lot of friends in Miami, and sorry, but a lot of them when I was turning 25, I will go on the record for this. When I had my 25th birthday, nobody showed up.
Nobody showed up?
Nobody showed up to my birthday. I had one person that I had just became friends with.
Girl, you're not alone.
No, it was actually really shitty.
Like that.
And I remember I had this, it was super funny. The people that were there was only two people, which is one guy who let me actually use his rooftop pool in his building. Mm-hmm. And he was like, yeah, use it, whatever, super okay. So, and I had just kind of met him. Mm-hmm. So again, let's just say an acquaintance. And then this other girl who I had just also kind of started getting to know. Mm. That's it. It was just her and I at that rooftop pool. That was super cool in the middle of Wynwood. And I was like, oh, amazing, I thought people were going to show up for that. Nobody did. And it was the shittiest birthday ever. In contrast to the year prior, which was totally not like that. I get it. People have lives and all that stuff. But I was like, damn. And yeah. I just remember singing happy birthday to myself.
No.
So sad. Yeah.
In Spanish and in English? Oh, God.
It was really sad. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, it was that was the most saddest birthday I've ever had.
But you're not alone because I also had a birthday like that. I remember. And it was also in Miami where I invited some friends. I don't remember if it was 25th, 24th, but around that age. Mm. And I do remember I went with my dad. We went to, what is this place in Miami where they sell really good Argentinian empanadas and Gracianos. Ah. And he went and he was like, we're going to have a barbecue. And he bought a bunch of good meat and just nice chips, wine. He we went together and we got all of these things. And I remember I was preparing the whole table, setting everything up. And then one friend canceled and I was like, okay, it's fine, it's chill. I had invited 8 people, not the man. And then the other one was like, I also can't make it, da 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 da. And at the end, nobody showed up, for whatever reason. I don't think it was intentional. But maybe there is some sort of feeling from that time that kind of makes me, nervous for the future. But I do agree that with age,
that moment.
Yeah, because of that moment or that experience,
true, but
I didn't want to relive that.
Is? Neither did I. But I'll say this: I didn't see it as I didn't have enough friends. I saw it as I don't have real friends.
Real friends.
It's
exactly.
the authenticity. My friends weren't being
That's true.
authentic.
That's true.
Because it's not like I had 100 friends that didn't show up. The people that I wanted to be there, even if it was just 5, 10 people, whatever, weren't there. Yeah. So that's how I saw it. It wasn't a numbers game for me. It was the quality.
The quality. 100%. No, and I think that's also some things that you, something that you learn with kind of age and time. You just realize you're right. You want to invest your time and spend it with people who would show up and be there for you.
Yeah.
I'm aware of that now, but you know, some days I'm like, in college we had so many friends. I also feel like in Venezuela and in the US, that, again, I don't know if they were real friends, but I just felt like I was constantly surrounded by people, right?
I grew out of that. I grew out of that actually really quickly after high school. I think, maybe even after freshman year of college, I grew out of it very quickly because actually, freshman year of college was also a pretty rough thing for me as well. Like when I went to college, I was completely new state, I didn't know anybody.
True, new state.
Like, I just realized that like, even though I was studying with all of these people, that's what I would say on that topic. Authenticity wins always. It's not a numbers game.
Yeah. And also, I guess something interesting in terms of like building relationships and, you know, dealing with this. I recently moved in with a flatmate, I guess. And it's a whole experience because I had never lived.
You're not even in college?
No.
Oh, that's so interesting, buddy. Yeah. Oh my God, you and I have lived like parallel worlds.
I've done all of that. In college, I lived with my parents.
Yeah, because you stayed
Unfortunately,
home.
Fortunately, I love my parents. Hi, Mom, Dad. But
you stayed home.
I stayed at home because I was in Miami, FIU. My mom lived in Doral. It was like a 10-minute drive.
Yeah. Oh,
it wasn't worth to pay. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she's like the true Miami girl.
Yeah, I am.
I'm not.
I don't know if I'm proud of that.
No, stop. ¿Qué tú dices? What are you saying?
Because I don't really know if I can be a proud Miamian. Is that even a thing? Miami girl? Because I feel like I'm from different places,
but
right?
so is a lot of people from Miami, though.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So, and that is like
true.
a typical Miami girl, I think.
Okay, fine. Then I'm a typical Miami girl. Yeah. I'm from Miami, folks.
Yeah.
But I lived with my parents. So
See. Yeah, like a lot of people. You were a commuter, just like everybody else.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think the only time I had... So I lived with my parents all throughout my life in Venezuela, and then I graduated high school, bachillerato, and then I came to Germany for about 9 months, and there I had a roommate, but it was an odd flatmate experience because she was like an older lady. I think she was in her late 50s, probably early 60s. Not saying that these people are old, but older than me because I was 18, and I remember she was like, you know, like an aunt. She would wash my clothes. Like we had like it wasn't the typical sort of flatmate relationship that you have in a Vega, you know?
With somebody your age.
Exactly.
Going through a similar situation as you.
This is something that I'm experiencing now for the first time ever at 28.
You are dealing with it.
I mean...
Yeah, it's
a whole thing.
It's a process.
It's loaded.
I bet. Well, that wasn't this focus here, huh? Okay. I don't have to go into it. But I know it's not easy because I've dealt with that as well. Oof, I have stories for days. Yes,
and I wonder, you know, like what are like the key things to sort of keep in mind when you're moving with someone new? And, you know, in my case, it's someone who's from a similar culture. She's a woman. We're kind of around the same age range.
The only thing I could tell you to that is just like, make sure that you're clean. Make sure that, you know, you don't eat anybody's food. People are possessive of their food, and I get it. Ask always about things.
Communication.
And I always say also communication. Like ask, like, hey, like what are the rules here? Are you okay with this? Are you not okay with this? Like, but that's the reason why I live alone. Like if I want to bring a man's at any time in my house, I gotta ask nobody. Ask nobody. You know what I mean? Yes. So like that's like things like that just to keep in mind, because I remember when I post college, I just knew that after living by myself for the first time at 23, I couldn't go back. And I tried doing it, and I remember that roommate was god awful. And like I also felt kind of icky like having a guy over. Not that I judged, but like not even the sheer audacity or decency to like just give me a heads up there's gonna be a dude here, you know? Because like I also live here and I don't know who this dude is. Like, you know what I mean? Like that. Because I could be in her shoes and be like, oh wow, you know, I pay rent here. Like I want to bring a guy over. I get it. I get it. We got needs.
Right.
But
it's about communication. Yeah, it's a fair point.
And not everybody communicates the same way that you do.
True. And this is the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Because also maybe you're too direct, or you're too, you know, you say things
avoidant,
or the opposite. Yeah. Exactly. So it's a whole new relationship we're building, and Do you have a crazy experience?
Oh my god! Ugh. I can only think of that one roommate. I mean, I have many, but I can only think of this one roommate, my last roommate. And that was like, I think the thing that really sold me on never having a roommate again. Even though I pay here in Germany a lot for living alone, but I really would much rather keep my peace and sanity. Girl.
Yes, peace and sanity.
Than dealing with that, honestly. It's like This girl was messy, super dirty, whatever. She could do whatever she wanted in her bedroom. That's her business. But like the common areas was just a mess. And I'm like, common decency. If you're going to be like throwing the trash out of the actual trash can, don't leave it on the floor to sit there. Like, go down the hall. There's a trash chute for a reason. Move your little feet.
Right.
Move your butt. As she wouldn't do it. There was stains on the white marble countertops. It was so annoying. I was like, ah! Like, I'm like, dude, can you just, like, wipe it down? Like, it's not that hard. Didn't get that. Like, I remember pizza box with the crust inside.
And what was the solution? Like, did you talk to her?
I did many times. I would tell her here and there, like, hey, you're gonna throw this out. Because I wasn't gonna do it for her. I don't know who she thought I was. And, like, it was just, like, so disrespectful. And, yeah, we had a lot of issues. She would leave, like, dirty dishes in the sink. And I'm like, dude, like, you can't at least rinse this off or put it in the dishwasher. Like, why does this have to be in the sink?
Right, yeah.
Like, it's like, we're sharing the space. I don't want to see your food. That was a big thing. And then I just think that the like, bringing this guy over, I didn't care, but I'm like, again, didn't get a heads up. So many things. And
imagine people that live with, like, 4 people, like, that they have, like, a whole community.
Well, I used to live in an apartment in college with 6 people. Like, it was me plus 5 other girls. Can you imagine? The amount of estrogen was a lot.
Yeah, it's a bit too much.
It's a lot. It was okay, but sometimes I just couldn't stand some of my roommates. And on top of that, I didn't just have 5 girls in an apartment plus me. I also had a roommate in my actual room. I didn't have a private room. I had a roommate in my room. We shared bedroom, closet, and bathroom. And,
college.
Yeah. And if I was pissed off at her and she was pissed off at me, we had to, like, literally turn the other side of, like, the bed not to look at each other. We were like, like, angry. But yeah.
But I guess you also, I mean, that's
like fun. This is stuff of college. Like, it happens.
Yeah, and I mean, you learn from these things, right? So I'm also learning right now. I learned, like, also in my previous relationship, I learned living with my parents that I would never go back. Sorry, Mom. Like, there's just things.
No, you just can't. Yeah, you can't. You outgrow those phases. It's seasons. Like, I had a season to have roommates. I grew out of it.
It's also good to have the company, though, I have to say.
No. That's a big plus. That's something that I miss, right? Because I don't have that here. But at the same time, you just choose.
Pros and cons.
Yeah, you choose. You decide. But anyway, now that we reached this part of the podcast, the end, is there anything that you want to get off your chest that I haven't asked you? Just that you want to probably mention to those that are watching or listening? Any, I don't know, advice maybe even? Like, I don't know, what have you...
Advice.
I guess... What do you hope 2023 brings you? But also, what did 2022 teach you?
Teach me. I'll start with the teaching, which is that I guess it's very important to just communicate in any relationship that you're in. And don't leave, don't leave a relationship, whoever it is with, like, if it's a romantic relationship or a friendship, with any what ifs. I think this is a big one, right? Just have no regrets, put it all out there, all in. And I hope 2023 brings me change and love and good vibes.
There you have it. Okay, well, thank you so much to everyone that has made it this far to the podcast. I definitely appreciate week after week for those that come and listen or watch on YouTube. I will remind everyone that it helps so much for you to rate, like, and subscribe. It gives visibility to the channel, to the podcast, and I will see you in next week's episode.